And this is World Communion Sunday. It's a fairly, it came in the middle of the last century from the Presbyterian Church, actually. They started it and said, isn't it a nifty idea that we think about the fact, one Sunday each year, that it's not just this group that's sharing in communion today, but it's literally millions of people around the world in hundreds of languages in every country on earth as sharing communion today. So I thought I would just bring along and share with you my map of the world that I keep in my office. And I really like this map of the world. Look at everybody telling me. Now, why would I turn this map upside down? Just look. What is there a problem here? Do you see a problem with this map? What's the problem? It's written upside down. But is it written upside down? If you turn it over this way, it'll be written upside down. Yes? Oops, my glasses. So, who decided? Back to the right side up. Who decided which way is up? Europeans. Let's blame those Brits again. I always like blaming the Brits. Australia, we're used to seeing in the south, and on this map it's in the north. But who said which way is north? Why is this not the right way up? Why is this not the right way up? There is, yeah, you see, we used to sing it like that. I might be moving quickly. Reality is, there is no up and there is no down. You know, what's happened in the world is we've tended to think of the world in terms of up and down. We've tended to think of the world in terms of first world, third world. We have given all sorts of gradations and judgments to the world. But actually, on this World Communion Sunday, it's good to remind ourselves that we are all, number one, followers of Jesus Christ, followers of God's love alive among us, and the issues of whether we're first world, second world, third world, upside down, topsy-turvy world don't make any difference, because we're all one in Jesus Christ. And it's sort of cool in this congregation. The Sunday school in the last few weeks has been dealing with the theme of leaving home and finding a home. And what's happened is they've had a couple of people come and share their story about leaving home and finding a home. And the first one was what most people call him Simon Vu. His actual name is Hoa Vu, from Vietnam, and he's not here today because he's in Vietnam for a family wedding. And he came and taught the children about his decision to leave Vietnam and come to the United States. And then Zay Fernandez came and talked about leaving Cape Verde to come to the United States. Who doesn't know where Cape Verde is? I guess I should get my map out again. It's in the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of West Africa. It's a little string of islands, about 500,000 people, 10 little islands. And one of the best democracies in Africa, isn't that right, Joel? Do you know? Yeah, I mean, it's an extraordinary place. So he came and told his story. So I'm just curious to know who's here this morning from another part of the world. Who's here who was born and grew up in another part of the world? I guess we've got these Belaya people over here. And you are from? From the Congo, from the southern end of Congo, and from a province called Kitanga, which is now where we have the largest United Methodist Conference in the world, much bigger than any conference in the United States. And Mama Shimba Belaya has just come back from Kitanga. And how was it? How was home? It was nice to be in that home, and nice to come back to this home, huh? Yeah, good. Who else do we have from another part of the world? Yes. Where are you from? From Sierra Leone in West Africa. So, again, a fairly small country on the west coast of Africa. And we celebrate Sierra Leone. Otto, up there, up in the balcony. Where are you from?
People's Republic of Eternal Spring, Guatemala.
The People's Republic of Eternal Spring, Guatemala. Anybody else who was born outside the United States? Oh yes, me. Yeah, I told them at first service that I like to embarrass my parents by saying I was conceived in Wales and born in England. Many of you may know my father didn't speak English when he was a child. He only spoke Welsh. So in the British Isles there's an enormous variety of people, as there are in Sierra Leone and in Congo and in Guatemala. So on this day of celebrating the richness of who we are, we know that we all have a lot to learn. We have people from, in the first service we had people here from the Philippines, from Eritrea. I was shocked to discover the Canadians lurking in our midst. And Hawaii. Right. So, yeah, but it's great, isn't it, that people can leave home and come here to St. Mark's and find home in this family. You know, sometimes I'm hesitant to refer to the church as a family because I don't want us to get too cozy. At the same time, I want us to be cozy as well. We need to be a place where people find security and find a place to be that feels life-affirming and comfortable. At the same time, as a family, we also challenge each other and we inspire each other and encourage each other. And so we are indeed a home away from home, a different home. We all experience our church as our home. At least that's the goal. So I give thanks to God today for the sense of home that is here in this family. And one of the great things about this family is that not only do people keep coming in, but people keep going out. And as people go out, they go to pursue a job in another place, they go to college, they go to be with family members somewhere else, and as they go, they take St. Mark's with them. And we hope that we sort of brainwash. No, that's not right. We hope that we inspire people with God's love and God's grace, and they take it with them wherever they go. And a reminder too that in our scripture we were encouraged to invite people into our home to share a meal. And communion is not only what we do when we come to church on the first Sunday, but communion happens whenever we share generously, whether it's a meal in our home or when we go and risk ourselves and our love with those who have a need in the world around us. So communion is a generous sharing. And on this World Communion Sunday, it's wonderful to remind ourselves of the power of this meal. And we have a table at the center of who we are. And the understanding is that there's a place at the table for everybody. The table, even though it looks quite small, is big enough to include absolutely everybody. We say all means all at St. Mark's, and indeed it really is important that we say that this table is open to absolutely anybody who come. You know, I make everybody laugh on the first Sunday by saying you don't have to be a member of the church, you don't even have to be a good person when you come forward to receive the bread and the cup. That's really true. There are no preconditions. You simply come and receive God's gift of grace, given unconditionally. So, this is a gift for everybody around the world, and so that leads us naturally into a song, and I believe God's got the whole world in God's hands.